Welcome back to another episode on the channel. This one's going to be detailing about the inner alchemical process and all of the substances that you can take that will harm it. This is Professor Matt. Thank you for joining. First and foremost, just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers and followers. Please feel free to look into ways to support me. I've got a lot of different ways that you can go about doing that. First and foremost, if you go and check out my online school, that's one way. Another way would be my AI tool called Straya. And then I would say the last way would be if you go and check out my online shop at teampsycosmos.org. The links for all this will be in the bio. There is a free 2026 calendar fully equipped with a PNG image that has all of the stock photo crap on it. So feel free to check that out. This might actually be the last month that my website will be up. Unfortunately, it is really expensive to house a website, so I will probably be taking everything from the website and putting it into my school, if that interests you. I just never get enough traction. Nobody buys my stuff on the website. My TikTok is about to be taken down because they didn't like the videos that I made about Jeffrey Epstein and his astrology connections. But if you're interested, please go check those out. I will plug them in again at the end of the video. Let's just kind of jump into this. So what harms the sacred secretion process? It's a cavalcade of things. First and foremost, I would say stimulants, depressants, your diet, psychoactive drugs, and lifestyle habits. Those are the big five. Let's just kind of jump right into it. Some stimulants like caffeine, energy drinks, or amphetamines are really bad because not only do they put you in fight or flight, but they take you, the sacred secretion process. This is based off of all of my research, by the way. It is parasympathetic. So it wants deep sleep, regular melatonin production, slow, full breathing, and a relaxed but alert nervous system. Caffeine does the opposite. This actually pushes adrenaline and cortisol. And it's one of the things that I have, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I really love coffee. Coffee's a big thing for me. I wasn't really a big coffee drinker when I was younger. It wasn't until actually after I had left college that I was a really big coffee drinker. And a lot of that was because of corporate America. It's just very much in the classicality, in a sense, of corporate America to get you all jumped up and adrenaline pumping, cortisol pushing through your blood flow into your brain to make you more susceptible to brainwashing and to put you more in that fight or flight so that you'll be more obedient. That's generally how it works. So a lot of the coffee will delay melatonin release, disrupts deep sleep and REM sleep, shorten total sleep time. And remember, it's during deep unbroken sleep that your hormones reset, your lymphatic system flushes the brain, your pineal is producing melatonin in the dark. So if you're pounding coffee all day, especially close to your 2.5, 3-day sacred secretion window, you're basically telling your body, stay in daytime mode. Do not enter the state that this process needs. Amphetamines and stronger stimulants take this even further. So if you're on ADHD medication or if you're on anything that's similar to that, look, I'm just going to give it to you very straightforward. I'm not going to beat around the bush, okay? I'm a psychologist myself. I am not a clinical psychologist, so nothing that I'm saying here is medical advice. If you have some form of mental illness or you have some form of mental issue to a point where you are reliant on ADHD medication or SSRIs, which we're going to talk about later, or benzodiazepines, which are also going to be in this video. If you really have a medical issue, just talk to your doctor, okay? I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't take. However, from my personal professional opinion, I have read and looked into a lot of the pharmacology and pharmaceutical industry. I have read a lot from the brain effects and all the studies that we have long term now. Reminds me back in the day, my dad's favorite TV show was The Sopranos. Dude was a loser. He literally thought he was Tony Soprano. I forgive my dad, by the way. I talk about my dad and I'm very blunt about my family, and people are like, you got to forgive your I don't think about these people. But my dad really liked Sopranos. My dad was a very violent guy. We lived in upstate New York. He really thought that he was like a mob boss, but he didn't have any friends and he didn't have a job. So, he was, it was like, it's just so weird how that show was so fully incorporated with drugs. Not the drugs that you would think of in like the mafia-esque type, like cocaine or something like that. No, it was all mental drugs, and they normalized it so well where they were like, oh, well, are you taking your medication? Are you taking your Xanax? Are you taking your Prolof? Are you taking all this other crap? Like, they really normalized that in that show. That's like the biggest thing that I've always noticed about The Sopranos, which I've watched once all the way through. It's an okay show. You know, I know a lot of people think it's the greatest show since sliced bread, but I think it actually did a lot of damage to American communities in the way that it trained people who grew up in the 80s mostly, to basically be like, you've got to be hard and you've got to be tough and you've got to not back down. And now we've got a country full of like wimps, and it's because the parents were really hard and the kids were like, I'm not going to be like that, but they also don't have a backbone now. It's like so weird how TV goes and brainwashes us. But anyway, yeah, so stimulants, bad. Depressants, alcohol, sleeping pills, benzodiazepines, or anything of the sort. Alcohol will knock you out faster. It also makes you extremely acidic. We already know that. But it screws up your sleep cycle. Okay. They sedate you, but they destroy the architecture of your sleep. Now, here's what you're noticing probably. Sleep is really important to this process. And it is. You know, you have two eyes in the front of your face that are open for 16 hours, and you've got one eye in the middle of your brain, the pineal gland, which is open for 8 hours. It's 1/3 of the amount of time. Well, I shouldn't say it's open. I actually think it closes, but you get what I'm saying. It's ironic because people say open your third eye, but it's actually when the pineal gland is closed and opening. Like, it's the fluctuation between both, which is really what secretes all the chemicals. So it's not even just the opening; it's the whole process of its movement in general. Which I guess the whole argument is that most people. But anyway, um, so no alcohol, no downers, no chemical sleep. Diet, sugar, gluttony. So overeating, as we know, sugar, as we know, right? This is pretty obvious. Most of your serotonin is made in the gut. That serotonin is the biochemical starting point for melatonin and possibly other trace amines as well. So basically, this is where the gut brain connection is really crucial and important. You've got to understand that Kabbalistically speaking, which remember, Kabbalah is Hebraic ancient wisdom, and that is, you know, something that Jesus probably, not like Jesus was studying the Kabbalah, but he was understanding rabbinical Kabbalistic practices because those date back all the way to Moses. There are 10 Sephiroth and 10 commandments for a reason. So you ask people in the Jewish community who are really deep in yeshiva and all their deep studies, they'll tell you the idea of Kabbalah goes back to Moses. But the gut, okay, this is where Kabbalah comes in. The gut and the brain, okay, are basically reflections. This is why the gut-brain axis is like a spectrum, the heart being at the center, which is the middle path. And so the brain and the gut are very, very important because they communicate and activate together. The Christ seed is born in the solar plexus. It's not born in the brain. There's reasons for that. So your gut health, obviously, as you know, is very, very important. Now, I recommend doing fasting, but it really depends. First of all, men have a much easier time fasting than women. Women should not be fasting during like pivotal points in their cycles, like menstruation and ovulation. If you follow my methodology, which is what more and more women are saying is accurate, rather than what a lot of other people are saying, the methodology is that you perform the sacred secretion during your ovulation, and you also adhere to your menstruation cycle as well. They are both very feminine, godly timings of your monthly schedule. The moon and sun sign does not work for women. It never has. It's just, I guess you could say, patriarchal Freemasonry that has taken over. Although I don't like that terminology because it's too divisive. That's essentially what it is. It was the fact that that wisdom was spread by men specifically, and the feminine already knew what their cycles were because they have physical evidence of it. So if you're a woman and you're trying the moon and sun sign thing, you've been misaligned. I'm sorry. And it's probably not good for you because what you're doing is you're trying to force your body to go into the cyclical process when it already has one. Men are the ones who don't know because they're the solar, so the lunar is hidden to them, and for women the solar is hidden for them. So it's like it's all the same. Um, anyway, so heavy meat, massive meals, especially at night, right? Like if you go to bed at an average time around 10 o'clock, you're not supposed to eat food past 6. Okay, so you're not supposed to eat food past 4 hours before you go to bed. Now, look, everybody's different. I know some people, especially people with Pisces energy, like Aquarius, Pisces energy, They are really big late night eaters. Scorpio can sometimes be thrown into that mix. I've seen it with basically the fall and the winter months, from Sagittarius to Pisces. Okay, so that section of the zodiac, if you're Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, you might end up eating really late on at certain points. I think it is different for everybody, but for the generalized public, for most people, including those signs I mentioned, you're really not supposed to be eating super late. It's bad for you. So, that's where fasting does come into play here. But I would, generally advise you don't. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this is a big, bold claim. Oh my God. I can't believe he's going to say this one. You don't have to fast during your sacred secretion. It's not a requirement. Okay. I would say the requirements are no sex, no negative emotions. Like the easier stuff is the requirements. If you want to have a smoothie, right? Fruit smoothie, veggie smoothie. You want to have a little bit of bread, right? All the healthy bread. I'm not talking about Subway cake sandwich bread or whatever the hell most of these breads are these days, are classified as cakes. Not something with a mass amount of sugar, right? Not something that you're just going to get from your out of the box Wonder Bread. We're talking like real healthy, authentic foods. All it is really just eating super clean and minimizing your caloric intake. That's really it. Like you stick to about 1,000 calories during your sacred secretion window for those 3 days. Eat nothing but fruits, veggies, some grains. Also, you want to avoid starches, like starchy foods, because a lot of the time that starch can be pretty negative towards the body in this process, right? So don't eat like potatoes, even though they're filling. I guess you could eat potatoes if you do it right. Okay. So, but mainly what I would really advise and recommend, like, yeah, actually you could eat like rustic potatoes if you cut them up and you bake them in an oven or something like that. A little bit of salt and pepper, some oil. Actually, that sounds pretty good. But that's what I'm really going for. You want to avoid like super starchy, you want to avoid super sugary foods. And that includes fruit. I know we've got these frugivores now, Bonacci and his clan, Revival of Wisdom. You're supposed to fast and only eat fruit, and eating meat is wrong, and blah 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 blah. Look, yeah, like I've talked about this plenty of times. The frugivore lifestyle is bad. It's super bad for you. I'm sorry. Okay. If you're vegan, I'm not talking about you. If you're vegetarian, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about frugivores, specifically the ones who predominantly prioritize fruits as their source of intake. Super bad for you, especially if you're a man. Okay. If you're a woman, it's a little bit easier. Why? A couple of reasons. One, women and men, they download, right, in their bodies nutritionally sugars differently than the other body does. Women have a better way of basically absorbing sugar into their bodies. That's also why women, on general, crave sugar, whether it's artificial or it's natural, fruits or cakes or donuts or whatever. Women crave sugar more than men do because men crave protein more. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, there's reasons for a lot of this. Women are attracted to solar foods, men are attracted to lunar foods. Lunar foods are like meats and cheeses and things like that. Solar foods are fruits and vegetables. And all the sweet things like donuts and cakes and cupcakes and all that crap, the Starbucks drinks, what are they? Pumpkin spice latte, strawberry this, chocolate that. It's all fruits and veggies, but it's synthetic, right? Chocolate is cacao, strawberry flavorings, right? Like all that stuff, pumpkin spice, it's all just artificial of natural fruits and vegetables. So that's why women really like that kind of stuff. And so anyway, going into this, the best thing for you to do as a man specifically is fruits are great for everybody, but too much fruit creates acid in the gut. It creates an alcoholic reaction, and it actually ages you very poorly. You want a balanced diet. Balanced diet. It's like balance is key. Middle path. Okay, eating meat is not like morally sacrilegious. It's not satanic. All right, if you slit a lamb's throat on the altar of Satan, then sure, because blood sacrifice has always been around, and it probably always will be. But we're talking about balanced, healthy, organic diet, getting locally sourced or like properly sourced foods. All right, no GMOs, none of that crap. We all know this stuff. I think most of you guys know this. All right, so now we're going to get into the big stuff, the one that everybody is always, always, always asking me about. Cannabis. Always. Oh my God. You guys really love to smoke your weed. I don't blame you. Weed is amazing. I love it myself. But there's a time and a place. Okay. And look, I will be honest and I will say I have experimented with probably 80% of what's on this list, not SSRIs like it's saying here. I've experimented with nicotine, even though I hate cigarettes and I hate just nicotine in general. I shouldn't say hate, but I don't like nicotine, even though it's really good for you for getting rid of certain parasites. Nicotine's not all bad. But I personally, just me personally, I don't like nicotine. I don't like the way it makes me feel. SSRIs, I don't even have to go into that. Psychedelics, I have experimented with like, magical chocolates during my peak times. I've had much more interesting experiences, but I don't know if it really assisted the process. And then there's cannabis, which is probably the thing that I experimented the absolute most with. And I can absolutely tell you for 100% fact, yes, it is unfortunately true. Cannabis is not the best thing for you. Now, what do I mean? We're going to get into that. First, let's go into nicotine. It's a stimulant, poor sleep quality, altered melatonin timings, chronic oxidative stress. Don't do nicotine. SSRIs and pharmaceuticals, don't do them. They completely rewire your structure of the brain. It's not good for this process. Now, again, I said this already earlier. If you are on some kind of medication and you're because you have to be, and you're worried, like, oh, how is this going to impact me? Just take like less or none of what you're used to and focus on doing as little as possible during those days if you can get away with it. If you've got to go to work and you've got to do all this stuff during your sacred secretion, there's probably not much you can do if you need your medication. Okay. Again, not medical advice. This is just helpful life coaching experience from all of my research as a doctor, as a psychologist. So my highly recommended pathway here is, take less, don't take it at all if you can help it, if you can get away with it during this time. And really, like, just as a real quick warning, because I don't want us to sit on this topic too long, SSRIs were not meant to be taken more than 2 to 3 months at a time. And we have this world of liars now that's like, you can take it for 6 months straight and just take it every single day because that's what it was designed to do. No, it wasn't designed to do that. It was designed to be a very specific program where the drugs are very powerful. They rewire your brain and they're supposed to get you back to normal so you don't need them. We have created a drug monopoly now through this. So that's not right, and that's not what we want to do. Psychedelics. All right, this one's big. It even says that. Psychedelics, LSD, psilocybin, DMT, mescaline can absolutely open profound spiritual states. They hit the same 5-HT2A receptors that endogenous mystical states probably involve. But here's the issue. They are external, okay? They blow open the doors often chaotically. They distort sleep, circadian rhythms, and receptor sensitivity. And they can desensitize the very pathways you may need during your sacred window. If you just blasted yourself with a trip right before your 2.5-day window, your serotonin system is in recovery. Your perception is already saturated with imagery and content that did not arise organically from this subtle process. So again, we're talking about tuning our bodies and our minds and our spirits into the universe. Psychedelics kind of force that a little too hard to a point where it's not natural. This isn't a balanced process anymore. This is now an unbalanced process because now you're over flooded with this stuff. We all know those people. It's like they take too much and they're like, oh, I love and light. Everything about my life is so great. But in reality, they like go off into the forest and do drug trips and have orgies. And I'm not speaking out of turn when I say that. I've literally been invited to orgies in the woods with people who are like heavily on mushrooms. Okay, like it's weird when you get into the spiritual community because a lot of it's not actually people in light. It is people in their darkness choosing to go towards the light, and they are very, very dark. We've had people who we can absolutely tell are like demonically possessed or something that walk up to our booths or they walk up to meet us in person, and there is just something completely wrong with them. And they start rattling off about the most insane shit. So again, drink responsibly. Cannabis. Now, this is the one that I really wanted to get to because everybody's always asking me, Dr. Matt, what do we do about weed? Because like, dude, weed, man. Like, weed's great. Okay. I like weed. I really do. I think that weed had helped me personally get through a lot of trauma when I was in college. I still enjoy weed today, even though there's apparently a federal ban in the United States that's happening soon for a lot of products. I guess that's next year or something. But the whole thing is, cannabis in the bio, it's biblical. It's cannabism. I got that from Bonacci. He's the one that actually pointed that one out to me in a video that I watched like years ago from him. But he's right. I did my own double around research on that. I said, but there's no way cannabis is in the Bible. It's cannabism. And there's a lot of people who believe that there's a loose etymological link to cannabis from that, because there's really no other explanation other than this flower that they think that really doesn't have any they assume it could be this other flower, but it's never really had any spiritual implications. So they're thinking based off of a lot of different whatever, blah blah blah. Long story short, it seems like cannabis is actually biblical. Wine is also biblical. That doesn't mean that Jesus was like, hey, get loaded, at the Last Supper. He wasn't saying, take this cup, this is my blood, and I hope you guys like pass out tonight and black out and don't remember tomorrow. The reason for the bread and the wine, I talk about this analogy a lot, and it goes in with the cannabis too, is it's a little bit of bread and a little bit of wine, right? The bread is generally, especially bread that was back then with like no sugar and other things like that, the bread was generally net positive in pH or alkaline, and the wine was a little acidic. And again, people have lied to you. It's not you want your body to be alkaline. It's that they're assuming your body is already acidic based on the standard American, European, Western diets. Okay, because all these people who are saying this stuff are just focused on the Western world right now. And so you got people in Europe, people in America, Canada, Mexico. It's based off of what those diets already are. If you have a pH balanced diet and your body is healthy and it's not too over acidic and it's not too over alkaline, alkalinity is bad. It can also lead to other bigger problems too. Similar problems to like calcification, but it's different. It's got its own thing. If you're too alkaline or too acidic, your body starts to break down. It's not good. It doesn't like to be out of that pH state. It's basically like temperature. It's like saying, well, most people, are in the cold, so you're going to want to warm up for this process. It's like, yeah, but if I live in Florida, if I live in 90-degree heat, I actually need to cool down. So if you eat a lot of fruits and veggies and stuff like that, and your body's already like pH balanced and you're not like super alkaline, which by the way, I guess I'll have to make another video into that as far as like what hyperalkalinity looks like. But it's basically like, drinking too much water, you overflood the body. It's like really, really bad. Obviously, I would say acidity is worse. Acidity is what breaks down the body even more. But if you don't have a little bit of acid to assist you in the production of mucus, that's another thing. Like Dr. Sebi, all mucus is bad. It's like, no, it's not actually. Mucus is part of your immune system. Like, and I don't mean just it's there like collecting stuff. I mean your white blood cells in your spleen that are generated from lymphocytes and all that other crap. That requires mucus in order for your body to create a healthy immune system. If you don't have mucus, if you don't have dead stuff in your body that gets reconfigured into stickier material that can take in harmful things, then you're actually doing more damage to your body than you think. And that's, I think, what's kind of taken over. Like, I see like the Wicked movie with all the ladies and they're all like really thin now, and a lot of people, I'm not body shaming or whatever, I'm just pointing out what other people are saying. They're saying that they're too thin now and they look malnourished, and I looked at them, I was like, they do look malnourished. It's because of a couple of things. That Wicked movie, they're all like spiritual witchy girls, and so they think that they're learning witchcraft and stuff like that, and part of a big thing with that is to starve yourself basically and not eat meat. And they say that like, oh, the meat, not eating the meat products is really, really bad for you and blah blah blah, and they think like this is some big thing that they're doing. You, by not consuming denser material, denser energy can't leave your body. Okay, if you eat only healthy foods, the bad stuff that needs to get out of your body won't cling to other bad stuff that's in your body. You're only going to have your body refurbishing all the good stuff, which is still good, but the bad stuff won't leave. That's actually a big thing that meats and cheeses and dairy do, and you can look it up because they found that fermented cheeses and dairy, maybe not like the whole milk that you get at the grocery store, but like real stuff actually pulls out heavy toxins and metals out of the body. So again, the lunar foods, being meats and cheeses, are very, very good for you. Eggs are also lunar foods. They're very, very good for you because they help pull out crap from your body. So again, this goes into the diet again. I don't even know why I'm going down this rabbit hole. Long story short, cannabis. Man, I went all over the place with that one. Cannabis. THC alters sleep architecture. Chronic use heavily reduces REM sleep. Dreams often vanish until you stop and rebound intensely. That one is like different from everybody. Basically, what it's really getting at is cannabis screws with your neural synapses connectivity. And if you screw too much with that connectivity, that can harm this process in the aspect of wanting to increase consciousness, right? Because what does cannabis do? It also fogs and hazes your reality, right? So cannabis, honestly, if you want to use a little bit of it, like you've got to be very responsible with it. And you've honestly, it's like, why not just go clean? Just stay clean. That's like my recommendation. Just stay clean. Sexual energy and lifestyle. All right, we all know this. Don't orgasm, okay? Because it's a spike in all of these things that can disrupt your process, right? Sleep, hygiene, and light, dim lights, no blue lights, consistent sleep. You're seeing sleep a lot. Sleep is a huge part of the sacred secretion that they never talk about. It's like you're literally in a slumber. You're in a slumber downloading information from God, and you're supposed to have this like internal relationship, and you're shown things through your dreamscape, which is also like your traumas and your wounds and your subconscious psychology. So with that being said, that's where I'm going to capstone the video. Overstimulation, sedation, gluttony, chronic psychoactive use, constant discharge of sexual energy, poor sleep, and stress. These things are bad. Clean up your stimulants, drop alcohol and sedatives, especially around your window, lighten your food, respect your dreams, your sleep, and your sexual energy, breathe, move your spine, and give your nervous system some silence. Super simple. Okay. So if you want to support me, here's the thing. My TikTok might be getting taken down because they keep slapping me with things. And I've had this happen before, and I lost my TikTok years ago, and we lost like 20,000 followers. So I'm really sad. I built my TikTok up over many years. It's at like 68,000 followers now. It looks like it's going to get removed again, which means that I'm going to be dramatically harmed in, my business. So if you'd like to support me, I can't really afford to keep my shop online for much longer. It's got 1 month from today. I just paid the bill for 1 more month, and then start of the new year, it's going to be gone. So if you guys are interested, go check out the stuff on my shop, teampsycosmos.org. There is a free everybody likes free 2026 forecast guide, astrologically speaking. There's also one that you can pay for. It's the year of the fire horse. So I put this cool little symbol here of this little fire horse. It's $46 because it's 20 plus 26. That's what next year's going to be. So it's $46 instead of the normal 99 that I charge every year, kind of like on sale just because money's tight right now. You can also join my online community where we have lots of members, and there's always good, like just great discussion. There are classrooms, tons of classrooms available, including if you would instead, if you don't want to pay that $46 for the guide, you can just pay the $29 to join my school for a month, and you'll be able to get the information at that price as well. So come join the school, come check it out, because you'll still get access to that 2026 astrology, and this one actually goes deeper than the other guide. If you're just looking to get the guide and skedaddle, that's fine. Join the school because you're actually going to get a better deal through that. And then if you also would like, I'm collaborating with a bunch of other high-ranking astrologers on my tool platform here called Astraya. Astraya is my AI tool that I built. It's completely secure, as you can see. It's on what's called an SOC2 server. SOC2 server, and it's none of your information is sold. None of your information is used for training, learning modules, LLMs. It's water conscious. It's environmentally friendly, carbon neutral, minimal digital footprint. It runs partially off of solar. It's a complete private network. None of your information is saved or stored or given away or sold ever. All of your birth information is completely safe. We did not use any other, unfair labor or anything. It's been a very small team. It's basically just been me, to be honest with you. It's basically just been me. But from the ground up, this was like something that I've put probably over 1,500 hours in. It cost me $3,000 to build this tool. So anything really helps. The big difference, I would say, While big tech AI assistants monetize your every word and train their models on your private conversations, Astraya was built with a different philosophy. I wanted safety and security first for my people. Your spiritual and psychological journey deserves privacy, not surveillance capitalism. And of course, it's technology with conscience. You can actually go to the website and read all about it. I highly advise checking it out, at least because we've got like 60 some odd people who are subscribed to the app. And guys, times are tough. Even with all the support that I've gotten, I'm still in the red. So I can't afford to keep the website up, unfortunately. But I'm really appreciative of all the support that you guys have given me. Come check out the website. If you guys want to do a personalized retreat, I have those that you can reach out for. I'm going to be putting most, if not all, of this information on my school. So all of the guides and everything I have on my website will be going on the school. And you guys can see this is how much I charge for high level clientele work and stuff like that. But if you are interested, join the school, join my AI tool, email me, and I can give you a discount based off of, whatever it is that you're subscribed to. I'll give you a heavy discount. So anyway, I love you guys. Please check out all my stuff. I really, really do appreciate it. I've got webinars, I've got programs, I've got freebies, lots of freebies on the website. And if it doesn't work, then I guess I'll figure that out. I don't know if it's not going to work for whatever reason. The website went down like last month, so I hope that it still works. But if it doesn't, just reach out to me and we can, make it work if there's something that interests you. I've got Sacred Secretion advanced guides. I've got Christmas workshops. I've got tons of stuff on here, guys. I'm always trying to provide value for you guys. But anyway, I love you guys. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Actually, I'll make a video probably for Monday, but that one will be on what's really good for the Sacred Secretion. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.